Hello and welcome to Sam Taha's Conundrum podcast, Rituals Edition. This will be a segment where I have guests and where we talk about OCD and rituals in general. Today I have Ashoka Thomas, a stand-up comic that we've met during the open mic circuit. He was doing a set and I sat in the back and I put on my psychiatrist hat and I diagnosed him with OCD. And then that started an Instagram friendship that when I wanted to start a podcast, I thought about you as a guest. And here we are at Def Noodles Comedy Club, which I'm very thankful for them for hosting us here. Trena is our producer / editor here. Props to her for setting up the sound and everything. I've done all the housekeeping. I think this is already going swimmingly. So hello, Ashoka.
Hey, what's up?
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great.
So we had like a confusion today with the time we were gonna meet
Yes, we did.
because I accidentally I did the clumsy thing of sending you 2 times. I'm sorry, so it's on me. But you were telling me that tell me about your morning routine in general.
Well, the confusion was because you had said that we were going to be here at 1 o'clock. So I woke up in the morning and knowing that I had to come out of my apartment to do a podcast, I usually like to have a bowel movement before before I go anywhere because I'm one of these people that don't like shitting in public, I guess. Like I don't like public bathrooms and so forth. I know that you have to do it sometimes. You have to go, and there's nothing to do but to do it. But if I have a choice, I'd rather get it all out as
But
soon
wait,
as
so
possible.
you have the ability to leave the house without the poop, or is there a morning poop before
Right, that's why.
before you leave?
Correct. So if I know that
Okay.
I'm going to go, whether morning or afternoon, like so morning, if I know I'm going to be somewhere away from home, then if it's at 11 a.m. at somewhere, then I have to plan and wake up extra early, like at 6 a.m., drink a lot of water, and try to get it
wow.
out before.
You really like you try to force it down with water and coffee and everything.
Oh,
Wow.
I plan it. Yeah.
I don't think I wish I had the will to plan it. It's I really just try to listen to what the body's doing and be like, okay, I guess it's happening at 7 a.m. I have no control over this. So I'm impressed.
So you're saying that if you know you're taking a flight somewhere for an 8-hour flight and you're going to LAX, you're not going to think about like maybe I should try to get a poop out before I get to the airport before I get on this
part
flight.
of I can't leave the house, flight or not, without going to the bathroom first. So the idea of me, like some people would like roll over bed and get in shoes and leave the house, that's not gonna happen. My time, the way my body's timed is that as soon as I wake up, within 20 minutes, I have to go to the bathroom.
Poop.
Oh. But if I miss my window, it's gonna be a problem. Like
Okay.
if I miss those 20 minutes, then my body's like, okay, come back at night.
Okay.
We're not gonna cooperate now.
Really?
Yeah. So like it's for me that it's kind of like it's like you're brushing your teeth for you. It's like, oh, I'll just do this before I go.
Right.
It's not like that for me.
Well, no, I wish when I woke up I knew that within 20 minutes I'm going to go, but with my body, I never know, so I have to like force it out somehow.
But then you call this OCD poop. Like an OCD poop, like what's the OCD part about it? Is that it has to happen in a specific way or?
No, it's just because it affects my life
okay.
in terms of like
I see.
people say, hey, you want to go to the movies or you want to go to the beach today? And I'm like, what time are we going to the beach? And they go, well, why? I'm like, well, if we're going at 1, let me know because then I'll wake up at fucking 8 so I can drink a lot of blah, blah, blah. But if you're saying we're going now and I didn't have time to like, I'll pick you up in 10 minutes and I didn't poop yet, then I'm probably going to be like, I'm not going to the beach.
You're going to cancel?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did cancel but for separate reasons. Like I cancel plans. Okay. I don't use public bathrooms in general. Not because of hygiene issues, because I think the hygiene issues you can clean yourself around. And if you have the right tools, you have alcohol and you have wipes, you'll be fine.
Okay.
But there is no outside pooping for me without a bidet. That's my problem. I still, 11 years in your country, I still have not gotten over the fact that to go waterless pooping, that does not exist.
So what about when you were living with roommates or your apartment
I
now?
always buy a bidet that I will go out of my way, did not mean for that to rhyme,
And you install it
install
yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's easy. You take off the toilet seat, put the bidet, put back the toilet seat.
And it's a good one, like the Tushy, whatever?
It's $30 one you get off of Amazon.
So, okay, so I thought about bidets before. I mean, I got one installed. Like, I got a good one, but it's not that good.
What, the Tushy?
No, I got some other better one.
How much did you pay?
Like $200 some odd.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like heated seat and fucking shoots whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it's still not good. It's too big for my toilet, so it looks like a hospital seat thing.
I have one for $30. I'll send you the link.
But my question to you is, see, for me, communal bidets, so like if I was living with roommates and we had a bidet, I wouldn't want to use it because no matter what, I still think some of the backsplash or the poop is getting into the hole. So like even when it's shooting out water, it's going to shoot, like there's going to be a chunk of extra shit or something on that tube, and when it fires the water, it's going to knock off the shit from the previous
tiny
person,
particles,
and it's going to shoot up
right
my
into your
butthole.
butthole.
And so like I don't think I could do a shared bidet.
Okay. So the bidets here in America in general, you're not gonna have that issue unless you really see. This is getting graphic. It didn't mean to be the poop podcast.
Sorry.
But like in Egypt, we used to have literally the bathroom would have a pipe coming out of it, a bent pipe.
Okay.
And sometimes you'd go into a bathroom and see like a little pyramid of poop on the
Oh.
I see what you mean here. Like you have to clear some poop to, again, I apologize. But here, I don't think that's a problem. And most of the bidets now have a self-cleaning function where it like turns a door in front of it and splashes water on the door.
Okay.
And it cleans. So there is no poop on the thing.
Are you sure?
Which is, I can't be sure. And that's the point of OCD is... You have a ridiculous scenario in your head that I can't say is 100% implausible.
No, because
like there is a 1% chance that this might happen.
I mean, I could show you pictures because I send pictures to my best friend because he hates it when I send him pictures of my poops and whatever. But I've exploded in many areas of the toilet and it gets everywhere sometimes. So I can't imagine a self-cleaning bidet being able to clean that well.
It's part of the, like again, I'll tell you during the pandemic, I went a year and a half without touching a banana.
Why?
Because when I went to Ralph's one day, I was behind a guy who was picking some bananas. And on the pile of bananas, he literally molested every single banana. Picked, not this one, not this one, not this one, and put them apart. So I realized that, and I tried in the beginning of the pandemic of wiping the bananas with alcohol, but they turn brown and they die, whatever happens. So I would peel the banana over the blender and try not to touch it and just break it in the banana, and whatever is left in my hand, I would go wash my hands.
Okay.
Is my reasoning rational? Everyone touches the banana.
Right.
It has germs on it.
Right.
And then I bring this to my house and then I touch this in the middle of the pandemic. It's very reasonable. But then imagine my heartbreak when I realized that no one else is doing this. And they're still alive.
Yeah.
No one died.
Yep.
You see what I mean? I have a reason in what I'm saying. My way of thinking is logical, but no one else is doing it and no one else is dying.
Correct. Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. There will be my tiny particles of poop that might slip away, but I didn't read the news article of someone dying because an alien poop particle entered their butt.
No, I don't expect to die. It's just kind of like I know that.
And I'll tell you another thing too.
Yes, go ahead.
I'll tell you another thing. It's actually, have you heard of poop transplant?
Poop transplant?
Yeah.
No.
It's a really healthy thing that people do when they have bacterial issues. They would go import a poop of a healthy person and insert that inside the gut.
Okay.
And the poop kind of helps the bacteria. Again,
no, that's,
I really apologize for all the poop information.
No, but that's a very good way to sell it to, especially people in Los Angeles or someone like myself who's been corrupted by the progressive mindset of like that could almost cure my OCD because, people like crystals, you should try crystals or you should try this. If someone said, the new gluten-free and the new way of curing your probiotic system is to take the poop of one of your friends and put it up your butt, I'd be like, oh, I think I'm going to go use public toilets all the time. I'm not going to want to follow some sloppy fucking dude in the airport bathroom, but maybe if I see some like hot chick or hot dude going there, I'll use the bathroom after him.
What do you eat? You ask him about the diet.
I would go based on looks.
Yeah.
I'm going to go after the attractive person.
I guess that actually actually works. This
Yeah.
is relying on evolution, because your nose will smell the healthy poop
Yeah, maybe.
in a way.
All right, good poop talk.
We can do poop talk for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
How did we get to poop? We were talking about OCD.
OCD, yes.
Yeah, so it's really, and that's really the thing too, is you can find the right argument to help you be more comfortable with the demons that you're afraid of.
Yeah.
But again, my way of getting over the bananas was that I had now, every time I peel a banana, I wipe my face
Oh, really?
with my hand, just to like, okay, here,
And you're still doing that?
let's see. I'm still doing that.
So now that's a new OCD. That's a new tick for you.
It's kind of like, it's a pattern. I'm trying not to get into the pattern of making this a red flag.
Okay.
Of, oh, touching a banana is a red flag. Because if I lived that way for a long time, and OCD jumps from one topic to another. So now that you're banana safe, let's make sure that your, I don't know, the oven is turned
Right.
on.
Oh, yeah.
So
I got that one too.
You have the oven one?
I mean, yeah, a little bit. But wait, back to the banana. But so it hasn't become a problem. So, like, if you're on a date with a girl, guy, whoever, and you guys are having a banana, you're not going to interrupt your date by rubbing your face.
You told me a story about you can interrupt stuff because of it, and I found that fascinating.
I can or cannot?
You can.
What do you
That
mean?
You can interrupt like sex over OCD stuff.
I get interrupted.
Can you like stop yourself from having sex with a girl because you saw her touch her hand somewhere?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. With sex, OCD will fuck me up.
That's very interesting, because I like, in a way, it switches off
With sex.
with sex. Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay.
You
that's
probably
fine.
have better testosterone than me.
We're fine.
Yeah.
Wait, really? You think it's testosterone?
Yeah, because like when I'm like if I'm not super horny and I go to a girl's apartment and I see skid marks and back to poop, skid marks or whatever, or dirty everything, then I'm like,
It's a big problem.
I'm out of here. But if I'm drunk and I'm super horny, a girl could be covered in whatever, and I'm gonna be fine.
I
She
think
could
it's
be,
the drunk part, not the horny part, because I assume the horniness is constant on both sides.
well, I think the drunk part lowers my inhibitions in
Yes.
my OCD,
Yes.
which allows my horniness to rise. If I'm not drunk and not dampening those thoughts, then I'm seeing everything. I'm like, oh, how does she tie her shoes? Oh, she lives here. Who's her roommate? What's that noise? I got to be careful. Blah
Oh
blah
my
blah.
God.
So all those, self-aware thoughts come in. Yeah.
I like, it's now I started having almost the intrusive thought of, oh, what is this skid mark or whatever, and then almost a counter thought to it that kind of balances it out. So I call them intrusive good thoughts. It's one of my OCDs was with luck. I felt that the universe hates me in a certain way. And again, you develop a way of thinking and a ritualistic way of thinking. It becomes a pattern that you don't see of, I'm always thinking of the ways anything is going to get fucked up, because the universe always fuck things up for me. So it became a pattern of thinking. So when I have a thought of, oh yeah, this is going to get fucked up, I'm going to come here to the studio and discover that I just rented the place and I have no one camera. They're going to charge me for camera use. I would have that thought. And back 3-4 years ago, that would be the one thought.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm not going to find parking. I'm going to get a ticket. Blah, blah, blah. But then now that thought comes, and then there's another thought of, no, actually it might be fine. Yeah, it actually might work out. And what I realized is, whatever I think about is never, like, I'm never right. I'm never right whenever I analyze anything in the future.
Right.
I'm never right.
Interesting.
So why am I bothering with only picking this negative side of imagination?
Right.
Just because what I realized I'm afraid of thinking positively.
Right.
Because if I think positively and it didn't work out, I look like an idiot.
Right.
To who, I don't know. But I've had this since I was 4.
Right. Well, fancy that you bring that up, because last night and this morning and every day of whatever my life, I have those thoughts about everything. So, like, I do not like Los Angeles, and I've been here for too long, 12 years in a row, and I love every other city other than Los Angeles, because for me, like, I've been single forever, and in every other city that's a good city, you could just walk out of your apartment and go blah 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 blah. Whereas here, there's nowhere that I can go, but
Yeah.
I force
So I'm
myself.
glad you're saying that.
I think so. Other people like, get out of here. There's plenty of cool parties, blah, blah, blah. But me, so I force myself to go places, but I have that thought of like, oh, God, I'm going to go to the bar in my neighborhood. I already know it's going to suck, and I'm going to walk in there. There's not going to be anything that I want to talk to or blah, blah, blah. So what's the point? So last night, same thing. There's this bar, and they do karaoke, and it's walking distance from my house. And I'm like, I already had that mindset of like, oh, why am I going to go? I know it's going to be terrible, but I want to get better. I'm like, you know what? Don't have these negative thoughts. Just go there and live in the moment, and you just enjoy yourself. Just because there may not be any girls you want to talk to doesn't matter. Or there may be. You don't know. But I've lived here long enough, and I've gone to these bars 100 times in a row, and maybe 1 out of 100 times I'll be pleasantly surprised. The other 99 times I come home and like, well, I just spent $50 and sat there for 3 hours, or $100, and that was a waste, and now I'm hungover and blah, blah, blah. So I go last night and I walk in, and as soon as I walk in, I'm like about to turn to leave, and then I ran into another comic, and he goes, where are you going? I'm like, look at this place. I don't want to be here. And he goes, bro, and he's talking to me, trying to like instill exactly what I'm trying to instill in myself of like, bro, why don't you just stay, relax, get a drink, live in the moment. Who cares? There's no girls here you want to talk to, but just enjoy people doing karaoke. You could sit, you could watch, we could talk, you could get a drink. What's the big deal? I'm like, well, I'd rather go spend $30 and go get some pizza and some wine and go home and watch fucking something on TV and be alone by myself. But is that what I really want? Or am I afraid to sit there and try to enjoy being in the present? Like, I'm always finding excuses to like, nope, it's not good, I'm gonna leave. But then the flip side, the brain keeps going and goes, all right, try it. And then you try it, and I go in with a positive attitude, and I sit there and I'm sitting at the bar, and it's so hard to be like, all right, $30, $40, nope, still not having fun. All right. Then you go home and you feel, it's almost like the feeling you get after you jerk off. You're like, sure, I just busted or not, now I feel like shit. So I go home and like, well, that was a complete waste. I just spent 4 hours at this place. I could have been home working, not that I would have, but I'm trying to get more optimistic thinking in that way, but I've been trying that for fucking 40 years.
And I feel like it's almost, you have the right attitude now of having the optimistic thinking, but also still using that part of you that also always thinks of the negative to kind of ground the positivity of, I want it to be amazing. I'm going to meet the love of my life. We're going to have the most amazing conversation. Yeah. But what really is going to happen is you're probably going to meet a person or two that you're going to have an okay conversation with. So that's a part of it. And then the other part of it, and I agree with you, which is I know how to have fun with less money on my own. And that almost is like, it gives me higher dopamine. So it's almost like a weed smoker, like a long time weed smoker, where you're already have enough tolerance that the little fun of having an okay conversation is not going to give you as much fun as what you know is going to hit the 100% mark.
Right.
So it's kind of, yes, you have to talk yourself into it and also accept that it might be boring, and your challenge is I'm going to sit in the boring.
Right.
Because I've jerked off so many times at home.
Right.
And what's the point? And sometimes you open porn and you're like, yeah, tits, I get it.
Yeah.
Close.
Like, oh, God, yeah.
Like, okay, we're done.
But I feel so bad. Like, I mean, I don't know if the bad is the right term, because you go in there and I judge everyone. So I look at all these people and I look at all of them and I go, I don't want to be friends with that person, that person, that person. Like, I just look at them and I go, no, I don't want to be. But then I try to think and put myself in their heads and go, they're probably coming in with the same mentality, maybe the same mentality of like, oh, I don't like anyone here. But then the people who are having fun are going there and just living in the present and go, I'm not judging anyone. I'm just here and I'm with my friends, or even without my friends, and I'm just watching someone sing karaoke, and I'm just happy to be outside and out of my apartment. That's the feeling that I would love to try and get in my brain. My best friend says I'm too old and set in my ways, so maybe maybe not happen, but
There's no such thing.
Yeah, okay.
I don't believe in like, oh, you get to 40 and then it's control save.
Right.
That's it, you're done.
Yeah.
I learned this from Pete Holmes,
okay.
From his podcast. He has this phrase that's not going to make sense at the first uttering of it, but he would look at someone that he's judging and says, if I were him, I'd be him. Or if I were you, I'd be you, in a way. And the point of it is, like, whatever happened to your childhood, the first 15 years of your life, where you were born, which religion, which mother, which family, all of these were not your control. The person that was formed from this if you had the same circumstances, if you had their same origin story, you're probably gonna be doing what they're doing right now. What they're wearing, what they're saying, all of these things. And in a way, it cuts the judgment because you kind of forgive them, or you kind of say, well, I would do what they were doing. I'll be the same way of idiot.
Oof. Yeah.
Like I do it a lot while I'm driving when somebody cuts me off. And if I look at the car in front of me and it's a stranger's car, I get so angry. But if it's, it's my friend Joyce, I'm not going to be as angry.
Interesting.
Right? So a lot of times when I see a car that somebody cut me off and they're driving a white Civic, oh, who else do I know that has a white Civic? Oh, yeah, Matt. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll Matt, you idiot. When he cuts me off, it's better than you, son of a bitch. You left your house today just to cut me off. I know you fucking did this. You've been waiting for me, which I've had people cut me off and I couldn't for hours.
Right.
Stop the rage of I can't believe he cucked me. He didn't just cut me off. I feel cucked right now. And it's crazy. Yeah. But it's all part of this dumb story that I learned as a young child when we were driving in Egypt. Is that your pride is in your lane, and if somebody cuts you off, they insulted you and your family, and it's not right.
I think that's a good way of thinking about it, but for me, I think you're a little bit ahead of me in that because, like, for example, I don't like loud talkers. So if at a coffee shop and a certain group of people, Armenians, come in and and I'm sitting there trying to do something, and all I'm hearing is like, bro, like exactly what you said. I could look at them and say, well, that's how they were raised. They were raised to be fucking loud and obnoxious and annoying as fuck. And I could be like, I would probably be that way as well. I could say that, right? And it's not just an Armenian thing because you were saying, if I thought of it as my friend. I have friends from Boston, and they're like, yo, bro, yeah, sick, bro, fucking yeah. And I'm looking, I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. Why are you so fucking, like, I still have that same rage. So my point is, I wish I could have your good heart and be like, think of them as a friend.
It's funny because I don't have it all the time. Like I have also that. Yeah. Like I have, what the fuck is wrong with you? Haven't you seen? But I don't know. Like I'm go back and forth on seeing which of them I would nourish. Sometimes I would be like loving to be in the energy of what the fuck is wrong with you, until I remind myself of, oh well, why are you doing this? What's the point? Let it go. But I still have both. And I'm as much as I'm trying, because this judgment leads to, it's a muscle that you use on people. And then when there are no people, you turn it on yourself. That's really it. Yeah. So I'm trying not to make this muscle as strong as possible, but I still need some of it for comedy. Right. Yeah. So that's why I'm like not completely throwing it at the door. Yeah. I'm like, well, I still need to have this. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah. But it's a hard balance.
I think another thing that I try to help, but still it's hypocrisy. I try to put myself in their shoes and be empathetic and think of myself like I've been in situations where you see that guy at the bar and he's drunk and he's just kind of lurking and staring at some girl and you're looking at him like, what the fuck is this idiot doing? And then I will remember, like, I've been drunk before and I'm standing at the bar and I'm still getting used to wearing my glasses because when I wear glasses I need them to read, but to see it's kind of like weird for me. So, but if I see a girl, I'm kind of like looking, and and I catch myself. I'm like, but I'm trying to figure out, if I'm attracted to her. But I'm sure if someone was watching me, all they would see is some guy just like, okay, what the hell is that? I see, okay, and it's like, I've done that. Yeah. So I try to catch myself like, all right, don't even fucking at this point, especially today. I'm like, I almost feel like I shouldn't even. I try not to look at anybody, like, but then you seem like I don't even know. It's so confusing.
First of all, this happened to me today, where I was pulling off to pick you up, like I was pulling up to a light, and then we're supposed to go left, but then to enter into the exit, you have to make a right signal and turn right, and there are two lanes. If you want to go left, you're on this lane, and if you want to go right, you're on this lane. Right. So the car in front of me is on the left lane. He was waiting to turn left, but with the right signal on. Okay. And I'm sitting there being like, you idiot, why are you here on this signal? And then I look at my signal and they're on right as well. Okay. So I was judging him for having the wrong signal on. And when I looked at my own dashboard, I found that I'm doing the same thing that I'm about to complain about. Yes. But it's like it's almost the muscle of catching myself in those moments. Because if it was the other way around, the muscle of, oh, this guy sucks and I'm perfect, is that's where it's coming from. Yeah. It's almost one of my breakthroughs the last year was realizing, because I always had very low self-esteem. I never had any self-confidence in myself. So I never would have imagined that I would have that much low confidence and low self-esteem and such a high ego.
Yeah.
And when I realized that, oh my God, I'm like low-key narcissist a little bit.
Right.
I realized that, and it just made it almost easier to be like, well, don't judge.
Right.
You're an idiot as well.
Well, then there's also books and all that say, are those going hand in hand? It's like we're so angry because we see ourselves in that person or whatever. So like I see someone doing something dumb, I'm like, I fucking hate them
Fucking
because
idiot, yeah.
it's everything about me that I hate. Like I have a friend that whatever, and when he does stuff that I don't like, I get very angry because I also see it in myself. But I also use that to help myself go, okay, I see that's how that person is operating, and I know I have some of those same exact feelings, so I will try to overcompensate and do what I think is the good thing. So like if I leave a coffee shop and it also turns into OCD. So like if I leave a coffee shop and I tip $1, but I had 2 singles in my pocket, but I only gave 1, I'll spend the whole day thinking, why didn't I just give them the $2 fucking dollars?
Wow.
I could have given, what am I going to do with this extra $1? They're working as a barista in this place. It sucks. I know what it's like to work in service industry. It's terrible. And I'm like, no, but you know, the coffee was only $3. Why am I going to give $2? Why not? Just give but that'll go in my head for 5 hours.
I almost feel like it's your brain wants to have something like this. Like a lot of times I would catch myself being like, oh, what was I ruminating about?
Right.
What was I beating myself? Oh yeah, I didn't tip well yesterday. Oh, you idiot. And like realizing that sometimes makes me laugh. I'm like, why are you doing this? Why? What's the point?
Ooh.
The next time, give an extra $1.
Yeah.
Like why should I ruin my day
Yeah.
thinking about this? But I think you noticing is the very good, like the very first step. If you see it.
Yeah.
So now next time you see it, you'll be like, stop.
But you know what you just made me realize also? I think it's because we live in a, well, for me especially, we live in a society now where we have the time to, we're so bored or whatever it is that we can overthink things. So I've been watching 1883 recently, you know, the Yellowstone, whatever. And now that you're talking about, it's like, back then, if you are a cowboy or whatever, and you're waking up and all you can think about is the herd, bandits chasing you, where are you going to get your next meal? You don't have time to be home being a little bitch and thinking like, oh, I should have given $2 versus $1. That wouldn't even pop up in my head. I'd be like, yo, there's a rattlesnake right there. So the fact that we're just living in this, I'm such a soft little bitch society, I create these things for me to worry about.
It's because you're not being chased by tigers right now.
Yeah.
You have to create your own tigers.
Exactly.
And it has to be this.
Which is the whole fucking culture of trolling and people getting mad about whatever you say. Oh, look at that fat girl. And then they spend 5 hours going, you fat, why did you just say fat? And it ruins their whole day. They never met the person. They don't know you, whatever it is. And but it gives all of us something to do. I think pretty much we just...
To keep your brain busy, really.
Yeah, maybe
it's just like...
need to go to war. We all just need to go to war and get signed up and put guns in our hands, and we won't have anything to think about it except killing other people.
Or running from something, really.
Exactly.
That's really half of the other equation. But wait, so do you have any like specific rituals that you like, if I, like aside from the poop, like a certain way things need to be done? If they don't get done this way, then...
Well, there's a whole bunch of things in my personal space that that I would like to have happen. So I need to have happen. I don't need to, but I prefer it, and it irks me if they don't. So my apartment is all carpet, and I've been there for 12 years, and my landlords are not the most caring people, so they're never going to change it. But I knew that going in. So when people come to my place, I always make sure they take off their shoes, because in my head, if you don't take off your shoes, if I had friends come over, which I don't have that many friends, or friends come over anyway, but if I did have friends and they're coming over for 12 years in my apartment, the rug would look like stained and shitty and have beer piss from all the bars and all that stuff. So I need to have people take off their shoes.
Okay.
If I have a girl come over, and this started back in my New York days, because we all ride the subways and the buses and the trains and so forth. So if I had a girl come over, before she sat on my bed, I'm like, yo, you need to get out of your city clothes. I'm not going to let you sit on my bed with your dirty ass jeans.
A certain other outfit?
For them?
For them, yeah.
I mean, you
Well,
could
at
say,
this point, we're gonna be naked. Yeah.
well,
So it's
I could
fine.
say, hey, I could give you some sweatpants, and they go, stop it, you're just trying to get me out of my pants or what.
I
But
see.
for me, no, it's truly, I'm like, you need to wash your hands before you touch my face, and get out of your street clothes before, because have you been on the trains in New York and the buses?
I
And
get it.
I've seen blood, I've seen poop stains, I've seen fucking dandruff on seats, and people just sitting down and like not paying attention. And then I literally would picture that woman. I saw a woman sit down on a guy got up and there was dandruff all over the seat, right? And this woman just gets in, she's eating her sandwich, she just plops down, blah, 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 blah. And I spent the rest of the day picturing that woman going home, sitting on her bed where her, like, because people just sit on their bed right next to her pillow and just being, I'm tired, and then just lying down. I'm like, now she's gonna lie down later, and her head is gonna be right on all that dude's dandruff and all that shit. And so I see all that in my brain. So therefore, so those are certain rituals. When you come invade my space, I need that to be taken care of. And the women who date me, they learn that and they understand that.
What was the longest relationship you had?
Probably like a year and a half was long distance.
And okay, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Long distance. She doesn't have to abide by your rules.
Well, she was awesome. She was very chill. She knew my rules, and she'd come in. She wouldn't like, I've dated girls for like a year, and they would still argue. She's like, why do I have to wash my hands? I'm like, I told you, and it literally takes you. Like I brought this one girl. This was in New York. She loved me. She said she loved me. She'd come into my apartment and I'd say, hey, can you just please wash your hands before touching my face? And at first she'd be like, fine. Then the third time she's like, you need to get over it. What's the big deal? I'm just touching your face. And I'm like, and we'd argue for about 20 minutes. And I'd say, listen, we could either argue for 20 minutes and I walked her over to the sink and I went like this, 1001, 1002,
Wow.
1003, 1004, done. See, in 4 seconds, you washed your hands. I feel comfortable. We're not arguing for 20 minutes. It could be that easy. But instead, you want to argue for 20 minutes about how you can change me.
Okay, so I have to wash my hands to touch your face.
Yes.
And then if I wash my hands, is there a regular checkup throughout the day of like, where have your hands been? Go wash your hands and come back?
No, I mean, but if we're out and about and we're like,
No, we're home now.
oh, home, yeah, no,
You're
no.
home. She washed
Yeah.
her hands. She came in.
Yeah, we're good.
There is you wouldn't see an activity happening, and you'd be like, did you wash your hands
Well,
after this?
certain things that I'm working on. Like, for example, if it's a girl who carries a purse and she's one of those people that places their purse on the ground at
Oh my
Starbucks
God, yeah.
all the time,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
she puts that purse on my
the bed.
couch, on my bed. I'm like, that purse has been on the Starbucks floor, the Starbucks bathroom, the airport bathroom. I'm like, I don't want any part of that.
Okay, I want to accommodate to your very logical feelings. What should I do with the bag now? Should I wipe it from the bottom?
No. If she just puts it down on the floor, it's fine. I'll deal with that. But if she's grabbing it, I'm like, oh, I need to grab some stuff. And she's grabbing her sneaker and pulling her sneaker off by the bottom, because I see a lot of people do that. Just like grab the bottom of the sneaker, and like bah, 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 and then they go, ooh, what is that? Can I have some peanuts? Gimme. I'm looking at that going, you but I have to like, that's how people live their lives. And then I'll just sit there and I'll just. In my head, I'm going nuts.
That's all you can think about.
Yeah, I'm
like all she's talking about, whatever, and
Yeah,
all
I'm
you can
just like-
think about is your disgusting hands.
Yeah, it's like when you go to a bar and you see people walking and they eat the bar nuts right off the bar, and I saw 50 people just, and then the next person goes, these are delicious, and I'm like, it just stays in my head.
I'm with you. My dad, like, I remember one of my childhood memories is getting stung by jellyfish for the first time. And I'm coming bawling. The jellyfish like stuck me here on my thigh, and I go to my dad, and I'm like bawling, fucking red as blood. I was like, ah! He was like, look, can you touch it? He was like, no, I'm never touching this. Are you crazy? I'm not gonna put my hand here. Like his famous word when I used to come in from outside and be like, oh, Dad, I miss you. He's like, did you wash your hands? Go wash your hands.
Oh.
Which I guess he's right.
Yeah.
But as a son, it almost felt like you don't love me.
Wow.
You think I'm disgusting
Yeah.
all the time. Like even in the time when I was in pain and I come to you, you were like,
Yeah.
he's not clean. Look at this. I can't.
Oof.
So it's I'm like you kind of need an OCD person also. You need to go find the OCD dating app, whatever it's called.
Or get over it.
Germers.
Or
That's the other solution. But I don't know if this helps. But for me, I almost felt freedom when I realized that OCD is for life.
Really.
There's no cure.
Or I think if I could move to Japan because it's also about culture. Because Japanese people are very clean. They take off their shoes. They don't want anything, like everything's pristine, clean. So if you're there, you don't have OCD. You're just a normal person.
There's disgusting Japanese people. They exist.
But in the in the movies, I've never been to Japan.
Yes,
but it's always super clean and take your shoes off and yes, here everything's perfect. Also in the black community, for the most part, black people, for the most part, are like, you ain't fucking coming in my house with your shoes on. They have plastic over their couches. If you go to a restaurant, you'll see black people show up and be like, can I get a glass of hot water, please? And then they take their forks and knives and they put it in the glass of hot water and they go,
oh wow,
yeah, like
that's smart.
That's also a black culture thing. It's white people who look at me and go, oh God, you have problems. You need to fix yourself. But black people and Japanese people, I think
they understand you.
You wouldn't have OCD in those cultures.
Well, you can get over it or move to Japan.
Right. Or I can move to fucking South Carolina or Georgia or something. I don't know.
I don't know why. If for me, like, it's wrong. I know this is not right, but I have this stereotypical part in me that makes me think that girls are cleaner than boys. I know it's not right, but
I mean, I think they're both bad.
Of course,
yeah.
Humans are humans.
Yeah.
Both genders, I get it, or
Yeah.
whatever genders are out there. But like, it's humans. There is disgusting humans, and there are. But almost I suspend belief with women. I don't know why. I know it's not right, and I would tell you, like, I can find holes in your arguments about, well, if she puts her bag on the floor in your house, that's technically like she putting her shoes on the floor.
Correct, yes.
So we might as well now let her surrender her bag before she enters the house,
Right.
because it's German. And that was part of me understanding that my tight, foolproof system is not really any close to tight proof, because I have there is a lot of loopholes
Right.
in my system that I don't know about.
Yeah.
These are the ones you're aware of because you saw them.
Right.
But then there are things that you didn't see.
Right.
And
that's the frustrating part, because you are aware of this, so you know that, like, for example, I know that if I go to a restaurant, there's no way the chef is living up to the standards that I would live up to. I've seen it. I've worked at a place and I've seen a chef with his gloves on go to roll up the mats that they stand on all night that have all the soot.
Oh,
and
no,
he
that's disgusting.
rolled that up and then grabbed something and threw it in the garbage with his gloves on, and then proceeded to make my meal, which was a chicken breast and a piece of avocado. He grabbed the avocado with his hand, put the chicken breast, boom. All that I saw. And so I understand that's what's going on, but because I don't see it, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm fine. It's when I see it that it's hard for me to get it out of my...
there's nothing I can tell you that would make me eat this. Like, there is nothing. I'm like, whatever I told you, forget about it. I would never touch whatever that is. I still have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And like you, if I don't see it,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's clean.
Right.
But yeah. But again,
and you didn't die. You're fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in Egypt. We used to go. Like, there used to be in Egypt there would be a lot of street carts that are selling fool. That's basically pita bread with beans in it.
Right.
And have you ever been to like any governmental institution, saw like people rifling through papers? There would be this little thing on the side, like a little sponge.
Yeah, they go...
That is wet.
Yeah.
That guy was making sandwiches in the morning, and every time he grabs a piece of bread, the bread has some sort of wheat on it. So it's like he needs to, sometimes his hands gets dry. So he needs something wet to switch between. Right. That was his crotch.
Huh?
Between each piece of bread, he would be like,
He would use his actual...
Yeah, he would just
sweat
on
from
the,
his crotch.
on the mouth, like on the outside of the trouser. He would just like touch his genitals to clear whatever is on his hands.
Oh, okay.
And then go back.
Got it.
To do it. And we used to eat from that place every morning.
Right.
But somebody would get the sandwiches for us, and I would never see it until one day I walked down to get food myself, and I was like, we've been eating this all day.
Right.
If you showed me this, I would have never I would have never gotten here.
Right.
But...
And you're fine.
Yeah.
And it was delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we can't wait to eat balls flavored food every day. Like that was tasty. You can smell the sweat on it still. But yeah, it's what you don't know.
Right. But also what you do know, because to me, from my brain, it's also environment. Because if I travel somewhere, like I was in Mexico City recently, and so for me, I could go get a taco from a taco stand, and I see them, putting it on, and people are walking by, looking, ooh, and they're breathing all over the salsas and stuff like that. I'm like, But if I'm like in a different country, like if I was in Ethiopia or whatever, like my mind can switch and go, okay, I can eat this street food. I could do that here. But in the U.S., for some reason, when I see someone doing something nasty, I'm like, y'all should know better. What the hell are you doing? And that kind of like, it fucks with my mind and makes me go, it gets mad and I can't do it.
And then that
but
just
if I was traveling and I'm in the moment, it's easier for me to be in that moment and let those things go. If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I get it. But that's the challenge. It's like if you can be like your Ethiopia self, but in America,
right?
That would be the dream.
Yeah.
I'm still again, like with all of what I'm saying, it's almost I would have one good day, one bad day, one good day, one bad day. But like I was telling you, with the acceptance of that this is for life,
right?
It made me, because when you're waiting to be cured or waiting for this day when I finally get over it, it's adding to the struggle, because it's not gonna be it's part of the problem we're in is we grew up with black and white thinking. So there will be one day when I would have zero suffering is black and white thinking.
Yeah.
Because it's black now, and you think in the future you're gonna have a cure and you'll be fine. But realizing that, I will be always struggling with these thoughts. I'll always be struggling with something like this. So I kind of need to develop counter ways of living with this instead of avoiding it.
Yeah.
And a big part of OCD is avoidance. Like whatever you're afraid of doing, the cure or the treatment is in going to that thing.
Yeah.
My hands on my banana hands on my face. You need to let some suitcases on your bed. That needs to happen. Dirty dandruff suitcases.
Oof. Oh God.
But again, forget everything I said about carpet avocado. No, screw that. Sweat. There's no 5-second rule here.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
I think there's things that we can pick and choose. Like, like I have a thing where I leave my apartment and I check the stove, and I'll find myself counting. Like I'll be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That stupid thing. I'd probably just pick that up.
Wait, what is that quickly?
Because I think I've seen that for like on Monk or some shit. You see someone with OCD and they go to turn off their oven, but then they stare at the buttons. They go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or they do the doorknob 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. And I fucking saw that, and it got in my head. So now when I go to turn off my kitchen or whatever, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3,
and then that doesn't get in my head.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, it's definitely off. And I've left my apartment before where I'm like, I know I fucking checked it, and I know it's off. But that part of me goes, God damn it, I gotta go back and check it. And I've gotten better of like, nah, fuck it, I'm gonna leave. And if the oven's on and the place burns down, whatever. And I left and I forgot about
That's
it.
great.
10 minutes later, I came back home. I was like, yeah, why was I even worried about that? But part of you still thinks that one day.
Yeah. But I have the same thing with locking the car.
Yeah.
And one of those days, I came back like, oh my God, is the car locked? Is the car locked? Beep, 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 beep. And then one day I came back and come to unlock the car, and it was already unlocked for 3 or 4 hours in the middle of the street. And I was like, well, nothing happened.
Yeah.
So next time when I'm like, is the car locked? I'm like, if it's unlocked, probably nothing's going to happen.
Right.
But it's almost, I broke the myth of every time you leave your car unlocked, there is a thief that has been following me for 39 years.
Right.
And he was finally, this is my moment.
Right.
He finally made a mistake. Right. And then he steals my car. That's not true.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I hope that helped. I don't know why when I talk to people, I take the psychiatrist role.
Yeah.
It's not intentional. But that's I really thank you so much for doing this.
Hey,
I really
thanks.
appreciate you for coming on a whim. You have no idea what this is gonna be like.
Hey,
So I really appreciate you. I hope it was fun.
Yeah.
And we end the podcast. I don't know how to do that, but that's it. Bye. Podcast ends.